First of all, there's a set of kind of no-go zones in DMZ. These are parts of the map where you're going to end up wasting tons of ammo and plates just trying to deal with the AI, and you're not going to get that much out of it. The first one is Sarif Bay, particularly the town part of it. The lighthouse and the resort are kind of okay, and sometimes the resort has absolutely amazing loot in it if it's got the flags up on the side, but the main town is horrible. There's not really anything of note in there, but there's loads of places where AI will spawn, and they'll often end up on rooftops or looking out of windows, and they have tons of cover, so even if you drive a vehicle through there, it's very easy to get burnt down very fast. There's also Akdar Village. This is a similar kind of situation, lots of tall buildings, very hard to drive through quickly. If the AI start throwing smoke grenades, you can find yourself getting shot at from all different sides and not having an easy way to escape. And then finally there's Satik Caves. Now the top part of Satik Caves is absolutely fine. That's where sometimes you need to exfil from, that's not really a problem. But if you ever have to go down into the caves or into the village in the middle, you'll find yourself surrounded by AI with no easy way to get out of there. You'll often find AI with rocket launchers and things like that around there that can just kill you so unbelievably quickly that it's just not worth going in there. There's not even any good loot in there anyway. There's also a bunch of places that aren't exactly no-go zones, but a little bit more dangerous. So places like the airport roof, where lots of AI will constantly drop in, but there's also tons of players that go there because they're trying to complete that mission where you have to shoot down 2 helicopters, and you can get sniped from the top of the ATC, where lots of people like to hang out just to sort of grief other players, I guess. You've also got the embassy in the city. This has big walls around it, and once you get past those walls, you'll find loads of armoured enemies shooting you, and you can't easily get out again because of those stupid walls. They're a lot easier to get into than they are out of, so I try to avoid that when I can. Then there's the area of the port that's near the ship, so where that big walkway is that goes to the ship. For whatever reason, all of the AI in the port seem to suddenly start running towards that area, so very quickly you can find yourself fighting against absolutely tons of AI, and there's not even anything good on the ship anyway. And then finally the back of the Said City Mall. This is the area where the dead drop is, which is used for so many missions, so there's nearly always some players around in that area. Plus there's a big open space with no cover, and then you've got AI shooting you from the houses and throwing Molotovs down from the roof. You can have players up in the car park shooting down at you. It's a horrible situation to find yourself in. So I would just avoid all of those areas completely, unless you absolutely need to go there for a mission, and then if you are doing that, make sure you're geared up appropriately. My second tip for you today is don't get into the helicopter too early when you're exfilling, especially for the final one. I often see people going and sitting on the helicopter and just waiting for their friends to get there, or in the last exfil, sitting on there for the whole minute and a half that you can be on there, waiting for it to leave. You don't need to do that at all. The time is pretty long if you're there by yourself, and for the normal exfil helicopters, it will only reduce down to 5 seconds if everybody's on. So wait until absolutely everybody's ready, and then all go at once, and preferably throw some smoke grenades and stuff like that to make sure people can't shoot you out. If it's the final exfil, just wait until there's only 10 seconds left and then get over there. All the time that you're sitting in that helicopter, you are a very easy target. It's easy for people to throw drill charges and semtexes up there. They can get an angle on you and just shoot everyone inside. Don't get on the helicopter until you're absolutely ready to leave. The next one sounds very simple, but it's just grab a fuel can. I know most people know that you can refuel the vehicles instantly if you use a fuel can from your inventory while you're sitting in the vehicles, but I still don't see many people pick them up. And they're super useful, and at the beginning of the game, if you're going anywhere in a vehicle, why not? Why have empty inventory spaces? Just make use of everything you can. I always just grab one as I'm going past if I need to refuel the vehicle or anything, and then if we need to take a detour and we're using the vehicle for longer than we thought we were, we can keep on going. We don't need to go and stop at a petrol station where we're going to have to go fight AI, or maybe other players are going to find us, or we're just going to waste time. You can just keep on going. So whenever you go past the petrol station and you're stopping anyway, just very quickly grab a fuel can, put it in your inventory. If you need that inventory slot later, you can always just drop it again, but there's no harm in being a little bit more prepared. Similarly, for my next one, use your third inventory slot. I think there's still some people who don't quite realise that when you have a medium or a large backpack, you get an extra weapon slot. So you can put another gun in there that you can switch to very, very quickly, even in the middle of the fight. I normally use this to keep a sniper rifle in, so I'll switch between my assault rifle and my sniper rifle depending on what I'm doing, because it's fairly rare that I need a sniper rifle in an emergency. So I'd rather be running around with an SMG and assault rifle so I can fight anyone close range if I have to, and then if I'm ever in a position where I see someone a long way away, I can stop, switch to my sniper rifle, and then carry on. Use that third slot, even if you're just using it to grab a weapon that you like out of the game to put it in your contraband later. That's not a bad way of doing it. Often if we kill players, I'll just grab one of their weapons, put it in the third slot, even if it's another assault rifle or another SMG, just so I can take it out with me again. Use the third slot. Make use of all your inventory slots, otherwise it's just a waste. Speaking of inventory slots, when you need to destroy keys because you need to take on a mission that will give you another key, or you've just run out of key inventory, why not, instead of destroying them, just put them in your inventory for the next time you go in? Keep them actually in your inventory, obviously the ones that you were going to destroy anyway, because there's always a chance that when you spawn into the game, you'll spawn near one of those rooms, and you can open it up just to get whatever's inside. You know, you might get a little bit of cash, which will help you buy stuff later, or maybe you'll even get some decent guns or some kill streaks or self-revives or something. If you're going to destroy them anyway, why not have the chance of using them? And then again, if you need the inventory slot later, you can just drop it when you need to. The next one is to do with fighting players. When you've killed some players, have a look at their bodies. If their bodies are staying there, that means that they're still in the game, they're still paying attention to the server, and there's a very good chance that they've still got teammates that are somewhere around. If you didn't manage to interrogate them to find out where the others are, you can at least keep an eye on those bodies, and if they disappear, then you can be satisfied that they've gone, their teammates aren't coming back for them, they've disconnected from the server. But as long as those bodies are there, they've still got the hope that they're going to get revived at some point, so you need to be a bit more careful. The next one is all about regains. You've just had a bad game, you've lost everything, you don't have a plate vest anymore, you don't have a backpack, you don't have your insured weapons or anything like that. If you're in that situation, at the very beginning of the next game, sprint immediately to the nearest other player spawn. So if you're spawning up in a city and you're spawning like near the warehouses where for some reason we always seem to spawn, you can immediately sprint to the right over towards that bridge, and there'll probably be some people fighting near the petrol station. Or if you're somewhere near the police academy, you can go fight there because a bunch of teams spawn around there. Just try and find places where you hear some gunfire and run towards it, because you haven't got anything to lose. If you end up dying, you're still in the same position you were, but they will probably have better gear. Obviously, if you're undergeared, it's kind of hard to take a fight against players, but they might not be expecting it right at the beginning of the game. They might be a bit split up, they might not have quite communicated with their teammates and stuff like that. So it's a perfect time to try and attack them and take their stuff, so then your regain is much, much faster. My final tip is probably the most important one, and something that I'm still not doing all the time, and that's to spend your money. If you don't have any insured weapons on cooldown, maybe it's your first game of the day or something like that, when you're going around doing missions, you'll probably end up with quite a bit of cash. Spend it. Make sure you're buying self-revives, you're buying more armor plates. If you need to get around quickly, buy an armored LTV. You can buy large backpacks, free plate vests, all of that stuff. Just make sure you're always spending the money, because as soon as you exfil, all of that money is completely wasted unless it's ticking down your insured weapon timer. So just try to spend it on gear, spend it on kill streaks, spend it on anything you possibly can that might give you a slight advantage. The number of times I've found myself exfilling with like $40,000 but only a 2-plate vest or something like that is ridiculous. It's such a waste. If you found these tips useful, if you like this and you want to see more of this kind of thing, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. If you've got tips for other people, put them in the comments, and maybe I'll do a video at some point of kind of viewers' tips for the future. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.